And I'd like to welcome from the third board, John Pearlstone. And John, great to meet you.
You
great
as well,
to have
Ken.
you here today. Welcome.
Thanks very much.
And first, it's your first time on our program, so a little background of yourself.
Well, I just moved to the village about 6 months ago, and I have a wife, and she's with me, of course, and 3 full-grown kids, all in the, well, one's in LA, 2 are still in the San Francisco Bay Area where we're from, live in Sausalito. And used to be a lot of things, I suppose, but a CPA, ran a small business, did some real estate development, which kind of led to getting interested in being involved with the board and property management and things like that.
All right, very good. So we were talking because I'm from the Bay Areas too, and you have 2 kids still up that live up there. Then.
That's right. There's 2 up there and then 1 in LA, pretty close to us here with the grandkids, so it's kind of nice.
All right, very good. Well, great to have you on today.
Thanks.
And we're going to bring up some slides, and really this is sort of kind of a year in review, am I right, for third board?
Exactly. The idea was, we've had a big productive year, lots of things that went right. Want to share some of the highlights for people who haven't been able to attend the board meetings or see the presentations. And it does set the table. A lot of this stuff is either mostly completed or there's going to be more going on next year, but there's a lot of new stuff going on next year as well that should present another great productive year for third.
All right, here we go. And we got the first slide that'll be coming up. And, I like the way these show all the different things. And, of course, the solar panels on top of the roofs were a big thing.
The focus there was I tried to make it where I would focus on some things that maybe people who aren't following everything incredibly intensely don't see every day, but they're major projects that produced a lot of savings. In this case, solar panels that saved $250,000 is significant. I think anybody who's making sure we're wanting to know we're managing our costs know that's a nice productive accomplishment.
Yeah, and these really came up. I think they were installed in 2017, but where you're focusing on here is let's look at the savings. You can now have a full year of really seeing the production.
Exactly.
I should say how it produced the savings. Yeah.
Right. Some are completed. We're seeing the results. Yeah. Some we got installed. So kind of an overview of the good and the great. Honestly, there really wasn't anything that went too bad in all these projects.
Yeah. This one moved along, and I remember when everything was being put in for those. So
right.
And the advantage here is there were all these 3-story buildings that had all these flat roofs, and so it made it a very relatively quick install. But more importantly, when they were first looking at this, it was like, we've got the physical real estate to put this on and make it productive.
Right. I think they do a great job, at least the board historically, of trying to balance, good projects, not too intrusive, and produce results that'll mean something for the long term. That's definitely the orientation of the board that I've gotten involved with, so I'm pretty excited about that.
And here are the cool roofs, and I can recall many years ago when they first started looking at these, and here's another great cost savings.
It is, and that's one I think that they've completed a nice chunk. There'll be some of that going on in 2019, and they've got it now where they've got the construction strategies all set up, and the communications have improved. So, I've been briefed by the people who run the construction and maintenance that this thing has just gotten better and better, and now a lot of these are installed. They'll save money, they'll reduce maintenance. Seems like a great project that is some in place, some still to go.
Yeah, that's another good cost savings. Now here what we're looking at, the ongoing problem in this village. I don't care if it's United or Third or wherever, has been walkway lighting and lighting in general. And I know both mutuals have really looked at this very carefully and came up with some ideas.
Yeah, the reason I want to make sure we included this is just any operation that I've ever been a part of, if it involves a team, a big community, safety first. And I just think it's great. A lot of things we spend time talking about in the board meetings and committees is how to improve safety, how to make things more easy and functional. And there's a real result of it is making sure we're seeing, people want to be able to visualize and see things clearly at night. And so they took a big step and looking for new ways to take that even further. Yeah,
and it's good that it's finally moving along because this has been a discussion that goes back long before I even worked.
It's true. I hear those stories. There's been a great progression over the last few years where there's been some transitions in management, and I just, I think I want the community to know that the board is very focused on seeing these things implemented instead of just a lot of talk. And these slides, I think, provide some real evidence of
Yeah, it does. And here's something else. Another one that's always gets talked about is the lack of parking spaces. But Third found some ways to re-look at the situation and
common sense.
500 new spaces.
Right,
Yeah.
low cost, just reconfigure some
Yep.
things, give
Yeah.
the community what they're looking for, which is easier access, more available parking for guests.
Yeah.
Just, again, a great solution that didn't take a lot of time, money, or effort, and now it's already in place. So
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Yeah, and 500 new spaces, that's a lot.
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
so that's great. Now moving on to the next slide here, and another kind of a project, and going along with the parking, it's finding more and more people are getting golf carts and eventually smaller electric cars and that type of thing, and
Right.
finding little niche areas to create another space.
Bingo. I think the big focus on this one, as I was sorting through the many accomplishments, is to understand that even if it doesn't directly affect you, it makes your life better.
Yeah.
So if you've got the golf carts kind of tucked away in nice spots that aren't getting in the way of car parking, life's better for everybody. And so they found some new ways to do that,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah, and that's always good because again, the cost is tiny.
Yeah, exactly. Just good planning, good
Yeah,
thinking.
finding little extra spaces.
Right.
All right, in the next slide, another ongoing kind of a project, and I say ongoing is because, well, it's landscape, and of course, no matter what you do, you got to go back and relook at it. And this one is very important, right? This is something that has to be done.
Maybe should have gone first, just
Yeah.
because the last 12 months, if you haven't been aware of or focused on disasters, potential for fire, these things that are going on all over California, and then other events are going on
Yeah.
over the country, then you're not really in the news. So
Yeah.
they're out in front of it. They're working on it. They made a big production with this first hillside clearing. It's kind of a starting point to make sure that we do as many things as possible to minimize fire risk. That comes in the area of actual landscaping, improving, water control and communications, which
Yeah.
got another slide on that. So
Yeah.
just great steps that, I think everyone in the community will feel good about and can sleep a little better knowing people are planning and looking for ways to, take care of these things if they really, God forbid, they do happen.
Yeah,
And sadly, they do.
Yeah, and what's good here is, of course, working closely with the Orange County Fire Authority.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
make sure you get it right and make sure that it's, when it's done, it actually will be effective. And it seems like it's going very well.
Yeah, yeah, and needed, of course.
Right.
All right, and another thing, we're looking at another project, and water conservation, and with the drought-tolerant plants, and also working with the Altoona Water District.
Yeah, it matters across the board in that there's a focus with Third, managing costs. Water costs are going, quite high, trying to find ways to reduce those costs, making sure the residents are aware of these needs, doing whatever we can as residents to reduce water cost and usage. But there's things that the community can do, as Third as an organization, by drought-tolerant plants, restructuring certain things. It's going into 2019. If you show up at the board meetings or watch our information, there's a lot more coming on this, but it already
Yeah.
started and it's had some success already.
Yeah, and it looks good, and that's the main thing. And to have, as you said, the focus is that way you have sort of a cohesive plan going out there.
Exactly. Just a balance between making sure
Yeah.
things still look great and we love our community, but I'll say it again, I think safety first is a big deal, and I know the board is very focused on finding ways to make things safer so that reduces fire risk and reduce cost. I mean, it's just a win across the board.
Yeah, and here we're going to look at a slide about sales, and what's really brought up here is pretty much the sales that are here in the village in general closely match what's outside the gates as well.
Exactly. It's been fairly close to the community, which means something because it shows there's a desire to be in the village, because a lot of the other community sales don't have assessment costs and monthly
Right.
fees. But if you take a look, why I included this was it went up while the surrounding communities went down.
Yeah.
So things are going well. I mean, in other words, the improvements are paying off. People want to buy in here. The prices have gone up slightly over the last 12, 24 months, and sales have gone up. So that is a byproduct of good management and making sure things look good when people come evaluate if they want to, including myself. You want to come live here. You want it to be, making sense and feel like a place you'd want to be a part of, and the numbers seem to support that.
Yeah, yeah. All right, the next slide here is going to be showing really kind of the kind of communications that both Third, really all the boards.
Well,
want to get out.
it is. It's a village-wide effort for sure. But I threw it up there on the slide simply because you've been heard if you've been concerned about communication as a resident. There's so many initiatives going on. The staff that is now running communications is professional experience. They've got great ideas. They're all starting to be implemented. So there's a lot of ways you'll learn information, and it's just growing and growing. So even in the 6 months I've been here, I've seen measurable improvement, and I know what's coming. So it's definitely, people can look forward to really getting in the loop of what's happening across the board in a lot of different ways here. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and all those things are available. Of course, they are working on the website, and a new one will be rolling out, a redesign, from what I understand, coming up in the
right. Constantly
next year.
focused on improving it. It's just the communications has been probably, there's several highlights I mentioned, but that one has maybe the biggest quantum leap because they took so many steps that are going to pay off for years to come.
Right, and of course, Code Red. We've talked about this before. How important
this
is.
I pulled some of that when I saw that Rosemary talked about it in the last meeting. But it's a good reminder, and it is a great example of the communication improvements, the disaster preparedness. You've got those forms. You should make sure that you fill them out and submit them because we want a nice database to reach everybody with anything that could matter to keep you safe or just keep you aware of big things going on, within Laguna Woods Village. Yeah,
this is good. It's something that you need to sign up for. And much the same way where I live, we have Alert OC. You can sign up for that too, which I encourage because that's going to give you information that may be going on somewhere else in Orange County that could, may or may not affect you.
Right.
But
there's just nothing negative about getting in the the loop on that and because it'll be used frequently. So make sure that you get those forms in.
Yeah, definitely. Here, you just want to talk about tomorrow is the board meeting for third.
I thought it was timely. The conclusion of all the great accomplishments is we've got a lot more on the agendas. We want to see more things done. We'd love anybody interested to become part of the board community, show up for the meetings, get involved with the committees. We do take on advisors, so anybody who's got a skill or just an interest can talk to us about, becoming part of whether it's landscape or construction or whatever they're into. We can talk to them and just show up, and speak your voice. Hopefully it's good things you've got to say. We love hearing good feedback, and whatever it is, that's part of the whole communication thing is every month we do get together and the board's available for you. Yeah, very good. And I think there's one more slide, or one or two. Yeah. Just some, these are some highlights that you're that wasn't really the focal point, just some other smaller things that have been dealt with over the course of the year. I think the next one was the one I was hoping for.
Okay, let's look at the next one here.
If I got it on there, which was...
it's the...
that was the one.
There we go.
It was, honestly, there was so many. And I'll mention in conclusion that a lot of this stuff is summarized on YouTube, expanded greatly prior meetings. I encourage you to go watch it, learn about what's going on in areas that you don't really see or hear about every day. And, we really are trying to represent you as part of the community. Hope you have a great holiday season. So I want to make sure that was part of the slide presentation too. All right. Thank you, John. A pleasure to meet you. We'll see you back here again. Absolutely. I look forward to it. And remember, tomorrow is the third regular monthly board meeting. We'll be right back. Thanks.